Guys, before we get started, make sure you go sub to Spirit Voices. She is absolutely amazing. Not gonna lie, her lines in this story gave me chills. She's very good. Go show her some love. My brother invented a ritual pasta, and now we're screwed. By Dopabean. My baby brother Caleb, and by baby I mean he's 19 years my junior and I'm his legal guardian, is a weird kid. It's kind of my fault, up until now. I found his idiosyncrasies adorable rather than off-putting. I guess you could say I encouraged him. For the longest time he's been obsessed with games. Not video games or board games, but games. Duck Duck Goose, Telephone, Freeze Tag, Red Rover, Hide and Seek. He loved these kind of games, so he started making his own. Unfortunately, I remember his invention vividly. "Tyler," he announced, "we're going to play blindfold." "What's that?" "It's a surprise. Now tie this around your head." He extended an old bedsheet. I tied it as if it were an absurdly long bandana, which pissed him off. "No, like a blindfold. The game is called Blindfold." I pulled it down over my eyes. "Now wait," he giggled shrilly. "I'll be right back." He ran into the backyard. A chorus of joyous barking greeted him, which was expected because we owned 5 dogs at the time. Caleb cooed and wheedled at them for several minutes. My amusement condescension quickly soared into irritation. Finally, the back door slid open. Caleb giggled again, then exploded into laughter. "Is the game over yet?" I snapped. "Almost. Hold your breath." I took a deep breath and held it. Caleb came up to me and thrust his hands under my nose. "Take a sniff." I breathed deeply and immediately gagged. A wet, foul smell clung to my nose. I shoved it away gagging and ripped off the sheet. Caleb was clutching a paper towel loaded with dog shit. "Guess," Caleb wheezed hysterically. "Guess which dog it came from." I can't say Caleb's games got worse from here, but they really didn't get better either. His next invention was a game called Hostage, wherein he covered your head with a pillowcase, duct taped your hands, and forced you to play Truth or Dare. If you screwed up, he threw Hot Wheels at your head. After that came classics, such as Book, wherein you had to transcribe his fast and increasingly insane dictations, where if you failed or fell behind, he threw water on you. Medicine, where players held a competition to create and consume the most foulest concoctions we could imagine. And Toilet, which I will leave to your imagination. By the time Caleb entered 1st grade, I'd had enough of his games. So when he approached me with a new one, I blew him off. "Please, Tyler, it's a good game. It's way better than even Toilet." "Nothing's better than Toilet, bud. That was your pinnacle. Exit gracefully." "Please, you haven't played a game with me in such a long time." Shocking. "Don't make fun of me." To my utter surprise and mild shame, his lips began to quiver. "Well, if all your games didn't involve poop, barf, and bodily injury, maybe I wouldn't make fun of you. This one doesn't have any of that," his nostrils flared. "This game isn't like the other ones. It's different and it's scary." "Nothing is scarier than Toilet." "This is." The shame needled me again. Caleb was a weird little fucker, but he was my baby brother, and being mean to your baby brother was the ultimate dick move. "Alright, what's it called?" To my surprise, he didn't relax. "Operator, please." I bit back a smirk. "Operator, please?" "Yeah. You have a problem with it?" "Nope. Tell me the rules." "You have to wait by the phone until it rings. Then you pick it up and say, 'Operator, please connect me.'" I waited. Caleb stared back, bright-eyed and gleefully anxious. "And then?" I prompted. "You have to see for yourself." "Oh, wait," he clapped his forehead. "I forgot the phone." "I have one right here." I indicated my cell phone, but Caleb already turned around and disappeared into his bedroom. He re-emerged a few minutes later, clutching a battered little rectangle and set it on the table, waiting for my reaction. What is that?" "A phone. Look." He fumbled with it and flipped it open. A Motorola Razr with a cracked screen and buttons so worn that the paint had rubbed away. "Where did you get that?" I asked. "Cody at school. I traded him for your band jacket." Anger clashed with helpless amusement. What kind of kid wants a high school band jacket? "Cody did. Once we start, we can't stop. You understand? Are you ready? Yeah. Caleb grabbed the phone and punched in several numbers. If there's someone specific you want to talk to, you have to type in their birthday. Not their phone number, huh? Shut up! I'm trying to explain. If you want to talk to someone specific, you type in their birthday. Then you hold the phone to your ear. It's going to ring 3 times. Then the operator will say, "Operator, how may I help you?" Then you say, "Operator, please connect me." I watched him with a pained expression. Then they'll connect you. The phone will click, then ring. Then it'll ring 4 times, then someone will answer. If it rings more than 4 times, hang up immediately. If it rings less than 4 times, don't hang up, but don't talk to who's on the other end of the line. Wait till the call disconnects. What if I don't want to talk to anybody specific? Then you just dial random numbers. Hey, how do you put this on speaker? I rolled my eyes. You can't unless it's on a live call. Let's see if this works. I pressed the call button and held the phone to my ear. Tyler, no. The phone began to ring. The familiar muffled bring. Familiar and unmistakable. I fumbled with the phone and put it on speaker. Bring, bring. Then a crisp female voice said,
"Operator, how may I help?"
Tyler blushed and covered his mouth. I looked at him helplessly. His eyes were huge and glassy. I licked my lips. Operator, please connect me.
As you say.
A click and then a series of soft mechanical beeps followed by a clunk. Then, bring, bring, brr.
Hello?
Caleb gasped. He was white as a sheet, so pale I could see the veins in his forehead.
Hello? Who's there?
I knew the voice. I knew it better than anyone's, except my brothers and my parents. Caleb shook his head.
Tyler? Is that you?
The voice on the other end of the phone was warm, gentle, and amused.
Tyler, it's Grandma.
I tried to speak, but my throat only clicked. Tears stung my eyes and began to fall. Caleb shook his head madly.
I'm so glad you called, but less glad a cat's got your tongue. How are you, Tyler? Caleb's there too, isn't he? Hello, Caleb. I miss you.
I opened my mouth to speak. Caleb brushed over and clapped his hand over my mouth.
What was that?
Grandma asked.
Boys?
I closed my eyes. I could practically see her, plump and smiling. Gray-streaked blonde hair, her twinkling blue eyes.
Boys? Why aren't you talking to me? Is this a joke?
A shrill whine entered her voice.
It's a terrible joke. How could you do this to me after everything that happened?
In my mind's eye, her smile sourced into a panicked grimace. Her twinkling eyes bulged, glassy and bloodshot. She was on the kitchen floor, clawing helplessly at her throat. Her tongue swelled and hives burst across her skin. I was 9 years old, frozen in fear as my grandma died of anaphylactic shock.
Do you know what it feels like?
She whispered. A wild sort of growl wove in her voice, turning some of her syllables into gobbling whines.
Your throat feels big and tight, like it's getting too big for your skin. And then your ears hurt, and your eyes feel so hot, like coals, except they're watering.
She giggled.
So silly. Coals don't make water.
Caleb pressed his mouth to my ear. Don't, he breathed.
You try to swallow, but there isn't any room in your throat to swallow because it's so swollen. You try to breathe, but you can't. I even tried to stick my fingers down my throat to keep my airway open, but I made myself throw up instead. My throat kept swelling and trapped the vomit. When I tried to breathe, because my good old lungs, didn't stop trying until the end, the vomit went into my lungs, and it made me vomit more. I suffocated while drowning in my own puke, Tyler, and it's your fault!
She ended on a wild, gobbling scream, so unlike her, so inhuman, that I wailed.
Your fault!
Grandma repeated.
Your fault, and I knew it as I lay there wriggling and dying and aspirating my vomit. I knew it, Tyler. I knew it was your fault, and I hated you.
The line went dead a second later. The telltale boop signaled that the end of the call had happened. The phone slipped from my hand and fell to the floor. That wasn't here, Caleb whispered. That wasn't Grandma Tyler. It wasn't. It was something else that got there first. Like what? I screamed. He recoiled as if burned. That's a shitty joke. I didn't quite realize what I was saying. I certainly didn't believe it. But in the moment, it was the only thing I could think. The only thing I could say without losing my mind. How dare you? How could you? How did you even find out? A sob escaped my throat. Caleb stared at me, white-faced and hollow-eyed. The sight of him enraged me. It was all I could do to not hit him. Instantly, I snatched the phone. No, Caleb screamed. Tyler, you won't remember the rules. I shoved him away and dialed a string of random numbers. Hope and hysteria certainly filled my chest. This was a hoax, and Caleb had certainly devised one hell of a practical joke, and I was about to prove it. Bring, bring, bring.
Operator, how may I help?
Operator, please connect me.
As you say.
A series of mechanical beeps and a clunk. Then, bring, 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 bring.
Oh, thank God!
A female voice, frantic and shrill.
Please, please help me. I'm stuck in I think an old museum, but it isn't right. There are things I don't...
An explosion issued from the speaker, so loud my ear felt muffled.
Oh, Jesus, help!
She screamed, thumping, followed by another explosion.
He's coming. Please help me, please.
She broke into a deafening scream and suddenly cut off. Shuffling filled the line, followed by a rhythmic wet sound. Then footsteps, then a thump, as if someone picked up the phone. Better hang up. The voice was shrill and giggly. Better hang up, before I find you. I ended the call, then hurled the phone against the wall. I picked it up and threw it again, and again, until a series of deep, dark dents riddled the paint. Then I stomped on it, crushing it into pieces. Then I swept it up and threw it into the fireplace, doused them with turpentine, and set them on fire. The smell was acid and suffocating. I ushered Caleb into the front yard where we waited for 2 hours. Then I went back into the house, beeline for the fireplace. Sitting on the grate, shiny and clean, untouched, was the razor. As I watched, the screen lit up and began to ring. I left it there. With Caleb's help, I packed up some clothes and loaded up the dogs. The phone didn't stop ringing the entire time. Caleb wept, but I didn't say a word. It wasn't hard to find a dog-friendly Airbnb. We settled in for the night. I slept poorly, but I slept. At about 4 a.m., I woke up to the shrill scream of a phone. I shot up panicking. As the dogs began to howl, I fumbled for the lamp. The golden light filled the room. There, on the floor, in the front door, was the phone. I stomped it into pieces again, swept it and tipped it into the garbage. That was about 5 hours ago. I know this isn't over. The question is, what the hell do I do when it comes back?